Welcome to Lights On Mindful Living podcast. If you're enjoying this, please rate us 5-star and share. This is how people find out about us, through your rating. I'm your host, Mitra Manesh. I'm a mindfulness storyteller and educator. I teach at UCLA's Semel Institute School of Neuroscience for Human Behavior Mindful Awareness Research Center. I'm also the founder of INNERMAP, an innovative new app where we teach mindfulness through stories, sounds, and practices. I've been the mindful coach to many knowns and unknowns of the world for the past 3.5 decades. By the way, I have some exciting news. We have created a new feature in INNERMAP where everyday global mindful storytellers can tell their stories so that they can be heard and others can be inspired. So if you or someone you know have a story, a mindful story to tell, we would love to hear it and, if appropriate, to include it in our app. To find out more, please visit innermap.me/yourstories. All of these are one word. innermap.me/yourstories. This episode is and could not be about anything else but race and racism. We're in the second week of June 2020, where there are many unrests and protests around the U.S. about authority, brutality, and race. There's so many ways to look at this important topic, but I'll go from my favorite way of looking at anything meaningful, and that is to look at it from physicality, mentality, and spirituality point of view, and then see the connectivity of all these three. Okay, first, physical. First and foremost, I have to say the obvious, but the obvious needs to be repeated until it is fully realized and remembered. What happened to George Floyd and many, many before him was, is, and will be inhuman. Actually, it's not just inhuman, it's less than that. It is inanimal, because no creature in nature harms just because. They attack to survive, they attack to defend, but never ever in any jungle, any animal has ever attacked another one and hurt them because they can. I know what we're seeing is difficult. I know it's hard to digest, but transformation has never been easy because it is hard to give up the power that has fed our hunger for privilege. It has really fed our hunger for dominance, our hunger for brutality. Look at the violence that sells so well on our screens. Doesn't that tell us something about our craving and attraction to violence? Or should I call it addiction to violence? Addiction to violence. I know it's hard to digest these things. Believe me, I do. I work with people and I listen to myself every day. But the sugar-coating time is gone. I think it's time for us to see things as they are, the truth of them. Even though I have almost always been a minority since I left my country of birth, Iran, even though I'm a former human rights commissioner, even though I live and work with diversity of all kinds, I cannot claim that I understand the racial divide and the pain of the Black community. I need to educate myself every day, and I still feel illiterate. I wake up with body sensitivity these days. I know I'm picking up the collective pain, but my sensitivity will never come close to the pain that a Black American feels when they are so unheard, so terribly, horribly seen, and so inhumanly treated. I am heartbroken today on June 4th as I record this podcast. UCLA, the place that I go to teach awareness, compassion, and acceptance, claims that somehow it did not know that the police used Jackie Robinson's ground to process protesters and those arrested for curfew violations yesterday. Don't forget, the uprising was sparked by the police killing of George Floyd. Do you see what's going on here? Jackie Robinson, the graduate of UCLA, was the first African American to play in Major League Baseball in the modern times. And then the very same ground is used as a detention facility for people who wanted to speak out about the very unfinished struggle for Black freedom that Jackie Robinson championed. The blindness of authorities is what I cannot fathom. And this is California. This is the epicenter of open-heartedness. People make fun of us. They call us softies around the world and around the US. Imagine what's going on in the land of the Hardys. All right, let us take a deep breath together. And let's look at this from the second perspective, which is the mentality. All right, just look at the word that we use to talk about our ethnicity. What is it called? Race. What comes to your mind when I say race? Let's see. Run, compete, defeat, overtake, winners, losers. Oh, language says so much. It is hard to talk about unity because it's a race after all. One needs to win, one needs to lose, and many need to suffer. The question is, are we ready to give up the trophy of winning? The registered history of the humankind has always been about the human unkindness. It didn't work, it is not working, and it will never work. Life is begging us to change our mindsets, a mind that is so set that it cannot take any new, fresh, better way of believing. We need to consult our hearts. We need to open our hearts so that we can connect to our spirits. The choice is between mind or love, domination or equality, duality or unity. To be a human kind, we need to go to our kind hearts. Otherwise, the unkindness will and is haunting and hurting us. The times that we could claim we did not know better are gone. Now we know, now we see, now we feel, and now we need to decide. Heart or mind? Do remember, heart always includes mind. In fact, now scientists tell us that there is memory and mind-like attributes in our hearts. But mind eradicates the heart when it takes over and when it comes in. It occupies the whole attention that we have. So the decision is ours. Let's take another deep breath and go to my favorite aspect of looking at everything from the spiritual perspective. 3. Racism is a disconnection and disease of the spirit, of our spirit, mine and yours. It happens when and only when we believe our illusionary story of separation. As long as we identify ourselves through our minds and through our minds only, we will participate in the race of race. We need to become humankind again. Kindness resides in the heart. We need to open our doors to the memory of the heart And remember that our ethnic backgrounds may be different, sure, because we settled in different parts of this universe. But our origin is one, is the same. We have all come from love, and we are all going back to love. The question is, can we live with love between our coming and our going? Hope this episode answered the question or two for you, or provoked and inspired questions in you. I'm so grateful you showed up and listened up. Until the next time, be well and stay curious.